What is going on, y'all? It's Coffee. I'm back at it, man. And the Super Bowl is just about here, right? That one Sunday that passes where there's the break, right? And it's like, man, as a Bills fan, it's just really stinging, Like I keep saying, this off-season hangover is going to be a tough one, man. But we still have some Bills news to get into for all my fellow Bills Mafia, as well as some other things to touch on. What is everyone's predictions? Who are you pulling for? Slash, what do you think will be the outcome? I'm pulling for the Eagles, of course, to spoil Casey's three-peat. Can you believe these numbers as well, man? 14 of the last 24 Super Bowls having been played by either the Chiefs or the Patriots. That is just staggering numbers, man. As a lot of people have pointed out, the Chiefs are like on the road and essentially to be the new dynasty that the Patriots aren't now. One era ends and another begins. Comment and let me know if you think that that is indeed what will happen and they will surpass what the Patriots have done. A three-peat, which no one has ever done, would really put them on the trajectory probably to surpass the Patriots. You know what I mean? But I just don't want that to not happen. I actually think that the Eagles can do the damn thing. I mean, the Super Bowl is crazy. Football is crazy, the way things go down. The playoffs, single elimination format. It's truly edge of your seat action. The suspense can be a lot, but it really feels like anything can happen in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? It's just the grandest stage of them all. But speaking of my Bills, right? Our Bills to the rest of Bills Mafia out there. Before we get into, the couple news things to go over, there's someone that spoke out in regards to the Bills, which it's like so hard, to stay positive as a fan and everything. And can't imagine how heartbreaking it is for the players, losing. We're talking about staggering numbers, right? The 14 Super Bowls in the past, whatever many years that included the Patriots or the Chiefs. The Bills, since this Super Bowl window has been open and we've been on the rise, have lost 4 of the last 5 playoff games to the Chiefs, man. That's why that 13 seconds game, I mean, that was ours for the taking, but it wasn't, and coaching comes into play, and we're going to get into some coaching news. A lot of people think McDermott's just not the guy. He's not the one that he's done all that can be done with the Bills, but someone who knows a bit about taking tough L's like this and is giving words of encouragement that will help ease, things for Bills Mafia, the Bills themselves, to dust themselves off and get back up and, go out there and push on for another season. Josh Allen, he's speaking directly to Josh and the Bills, but mainly Josh, but also to Lamar Jackson as well.
Yeah, Payne, obviously this week with the Josh Allen and Bills losing to the Chiefs and Mahomes again, the big narrative is, will Josh ever be able to get it done versus Mahomes in the playoffs? Because obviously he's undefeated in the regular season. What is that kind of like as a quarterback who kind of can't get over that one team, that one player, every single offseason going in with the same feeling against the same team? How do you think the Bills and Josh Allen can kind of get over that hump?
Yeah, look, I can relate. I mean, I lived that life, and I sent Josh a text voice memo after the game and just telling him how much I enjoyed watching him play this year and how well he competed, and just to keep his head up, keep grinding, keep sawing wood. Look, I lived that life. Tom Brady and the Patriots beat us back-to-back playoff years, once in the AFC Championship, once in the divisional round, and that's all you hear about all offseason. Yeah, but had a great season. Yeah, but you can't beat the Patriots in the postseason. And then 2 years later, we did it. We beat them in the AFC Championship, win the Super Bowl. So what are you going to do? Are you going to go crawl in a hole and feel sorry for yourself? Or are you going to just keep fighting and keep grinding? I would rather, and I think Josh Allen and Lamar feel the same way, have their hearts ripped out in the AFC Championship by 3 points, as opposed to finishing 7-10.
Yeah.
And you probably smoke a cigar in that locker room after that last win because you're kind of in a good mood and you feel kind of good. The truth is you're a bad team and you're so far away. Would you rather be 7-10 or have your heart ripped out by being close? I'd rather have my heart ripped out because that means they're close. And Josh Allen's close, Lamar's close. They will get there. I believe it. It's just, look, they're not losing to bad teams. Last time I checked, Mahomes and the Chiefs, there's a reason they're in the Super Bowl. They're a good team, right? We lost to the Patriots. It sucked. I hated it, but they were the better team. And so I think Josh and Lamar will both get there, but until then, they have to own it, and they are doing it. They're not hiding from it. And I think their time will come.
You talk about smoking cigars after going 7-10 because you won the last game of the season. Jim Irsay told the Colts that they're undefeated in 2025. Yeah, because they won that last game of the season. I don't know if you saw that, Dave. It was awesome. It was really cool. It was really cool to see. It was really cool to see as a season ticket holder.
So Peyton Manning, you heard him. He thinks ultimately Josh and Lamar will get a ring. And that these losses actually help in a sense, like obviously we all saw what Peyton Manning went through going against Tom Brady. We were talking about that dynasty right as it was getting going. It was like, Peyton just couldn't get over the hump, couldn't beat Brady and the Patriots until he did that one year and got that ring with Indy. And then, man, you talk about a year, I didn't think they had a shot. Was that Super Bowl he got with the Broncos, man. Like leading into the playoffs that year, I thought personally that the Broncos were like the worst of good teams, but they did the damn thing. There was one game too where Peyton was hurt and Osweiler filled in and played his arse off, and I don't know, that was just shocking. I never would have thunk it, man. Comment if you felt that way as well back then, if you remember that, if you were shocked to see the Broncos walk away with a Super Bowl ring there, man. It kind of also reminds me, we talk about, at the end of this too, we're going to have a clip that just kind of highlights a bit of a Super Bowl history over the years. So stay tuned for that at the end of the video. Make sure, to share your thoughts on all this stuff. But obviously, once again, the heartbreak of the Bills, everything that the franchise has been through, the fans, like myself, have watched it all play out, the 4 straight Super Bowl losses, and then now 5 seasons essentially where we were Super Bowl contenders and just couldn't do it. And like you heard Peyton talking about, everyone just says, yeah, you did all this, but you couldn't beat, for him, Brady, for Josh Allen and the Bills, you couldn't, for Peyton, you couldn't beat Brady and the Patriots. For Josh Allen, you couldn't beat Mahomes and the Chiefs. And obviously that one season that we lost to the Bengals, I personally feel like the Bills were just burnt out that year. Obviously what happened with Damar Hamlin was crazy. Thank God he's okay. But the Bills at that point in time were the #1 seed. I thought we needed that bye, and I don't know, things, transpired the way in which they did. And we ended up losing to a Bengals team that I thought we were just clearly the better team. I thought the Bills were just mentally and emotionally burnt out. But back to what I was saying about Peyton, that second Super Bowl was shocking. I didn't see it happening in a million fucking years. Remember how bad he played in the one against Russell Wilson as well? It was like, God damn, man, it seemed like a setup or something. Like, what was going on? But John Elway, another Bronco, who obviously some say the best draft class of quarterbacks ever, Jim Kelly, Dan Marino, and Elway. It was wild to see Elway at the tail end of his career getting back-to-back Super Bowls. Like, I don't know, I just still believe, even though this is also tough, like it's going to be a long one this off season, but getting into this coaching news that I wanted to go over. The Bills are losing Scott Booker. And comment, everyone, with your thoughts again about McDermott if you just feel that he's not the guy. I've spoke about it so many times, just how wild it is, that he came to Buffalo and immediately helped change the culture of this team, breaking the playoff drought in his first season, but the way it's all gone has just been so frustrating. And there's so many people that just say, yo, he can't. He gets out-coached in the big moments. He gets too conservative. And this year, it really seemed like we were primed to turn the tides. But we were out-coached once again in the playoffs. So let me know what you think about that. But Scott Booker was our, what was he? A defensive assistant, right? He was a nickel, what was he? Nickelback's coach and senior defensive assistant, Scott Booker. He was only with us for like one season. He's expected to go over to New England and join Vrabel, as prior to joining the Bills, he spent 6 years as a coaching assistant with Vrabel in Tennessee. Now, someone who is staying, and this says a lot to me, like for real, Bills Mafia, think about it, guys. Joe Brady. This season, the stuff he was drawing up with Josh Allen and just the way it all went, I really personally felt like it really helped Josh be a better quarterback, and like Brady and him just come together in a great collaborative way. And he drew some attention. Oh, not to mention the year prior when we were having the struggles after that holiday loss to the Broncos that year, right? They canned the offensive coordinator. They brought Brady to town and things changed. The Bills rallied around him. And this says a lot, right? That he was getting, attention in the coaching carousel. And the New Orleans Saints actually were speaking to him. And, he said, fuck it. I'm not even going to go any further with this. I'm staying in Buffalo. I'm keeping at what I started. You know what I'm saying? Me, Josh, the Bills, we're going to get that ring. Like, that says a lot to me. And I think that that is indeed a good sign and just shows that he is as determined as Josh Allen is to get that ring. For real, that's a big deal to me. It's something positive to look at in a time where everything is really feeling negative for Bills fans. Now, I also see people talking ish about this. As you guys recall, after the 13 seconds game, we saw the playoff overtime format changed where both teams get a shot to get the ball. As in regular season, if you put up 7 like the Chiefs did against us in that game, or 6 actually, just a touchdown because they don't attempt the extra point when the game just ends. If you go down and get a TD, that's it. That's a wrap. Overtime playoff football changed, and now people are saying, oh, every time Josh Allen loses to Mahomes, they're going to change the rule, as we're seeing reports now that the NFL is considering measuring first downs electronically during the 2025 season. And this is something I don't know why they didn't do this before. Put some kind of chip in a ball or something. Is it a first down? Did it break the pylon? Like, you know what I mean? Why not break the plane of the end zone? Why hasn't something like this with technology and all this sports science-ish happened at this point? You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I've said it and I'm going to keep saying it. I'm not going to be the guy and whine and say, oh, the refs stole the game from us. You got to go out there and do the damn thing. But that spot, that fourth down, the turnover, Josh had that. That was ludicrous. He had it. We had it on play prior on that series with Kincaid, and there was a video I did recently. I'll try to link it in the comments below, where there was a TikToker that went through and broke down the iffy-ish from the refs, and he basically was saying, spotting. He pointed it out like all game long. They just kept giving the Bills horrific spots of the ball. So the fact that like nothing like this has ever been done. And they're not saying they're definitely doing it. They're just considering it. I'm like, why not? This is a good thing. And I think it shows that they know that was some bullish, man. This was some definite bullish. When I was watching the game, I was infuriated. After that touchdown, you'll see the footage right where Kelsey was just taunting and all up in Bills players' faces, and Jordan Phillips took the bait and headbutted him, and ended up getting a penalty that hurt the team and hurt momentum wise. But you see Kelsey actually got fined for that, something that they also missed and didn't call on the field. But I mean, that's something that someone does, go out there and be an instigator, try and draw a penalty, try to get under your opponent's skin and everything like that. Like, it is a good strategy. It's a prickish thing to do, and Kelsey is quite the prick, the way we've seen him acting last year in the playoffs, all in the coach's face and a lot of the douchebaggery that he does. But you see, he says he has no problem playing the villain and all that. And so, hey, be the villain, Kelsey. You know what I mean? In that one video I was talking about that I just did, again, I'll link it below, where the TikToker went through and broke it all down, all the bad calls in that game. He was theorizing that the powers that be are trying to push everything together for the Chiefs to three-peat, where Kelsey will propose to Taylor Swift, and then after she says yes, announce his retirement and ride off into the sunset.
The Chiefs are still 1.5-point favorites. They opened at 1.5. It hasn't moved. If it moved, it's moved back. 48.5 over under. 14 of the last 24 Super Bowls, to our point from earlier, have featured the Chiefs or the Patriots. Good luck, other teams in the AFC. Ravens, Bills, Steelers, Bengals, although the Bengals made one. The Steelers have been and won. The Ravens have won one. The Bills, not so much. But it's just an amazing dominance in the AFC, not NFC. In the NFC, it's been more of a mixed bag. You have a hard time winning. It's been, other than, the Rams, the Bucks, and the Eagles the last 8 years. Other than that, it's been the Patriots and the Chiefs.
Here's the good part about that. If you are a gambler, or if you are just a football fan who likes an entertaining product, and you got nothing on it, you just want to watch a good game, with the Chiefs and Patriots involved in the Super Bowl, you know it's going to be a close game. Generally, they play close games. They don't blow people out. I guess the Chiefs got blown out in their one loss. They had some offensive line problems against Tom Brady's Buccaneers, but most of the time, the game is going to be around. It's going to be close in the fourth quarter. And with both teams, go to overtime. So I guess that's better for the fans, but it's more frustrating, Mike, for other coaches, general managers, and players, because it's not like back in the day. Back in the day, in the 80s, NFC would get to the Super Bowl. Whoever the AFC sacrificial lamb was, we knew what was going to happen. The game would be over by halftime. If it made it that far, NFC was just dominant, would just crush these AFC teams. And so I guess that's easier when you're a player. If that team is just so much better than you are, you say, well, we don't have a chance. I'm happy to be here. Great, we made it to the Super Bowl. In this case, they're better, but they just kind of slowly squeeze the life out of you, and you're like, what happened? We were so close. If this had happened, if that had happened, the officials, that spot, that fumble, that one thing. So they're the close win dynasties, not the just blow you out of the water dynasties.
Oh, and I'd have been thrilled by that news in the 70s as I was suffering through year after year of these suffocation blowouts. And they weren't always like 14-7 in Super Bowl VII, but you know what? I mean, there's no way that Washington was beating Miami that day. The only reason they got 7 was because of Garo Yepremian's misadventure with the ball, and the great video of the ball bouncing around and him trying to figure out what to do with it. The Dolphins and the Vikings, that was never competitive. The Steelers and the Vikings 50 years ago, 16-6. It felt like 160-6. And we got flashes like with the Steelers and Cowboys in Super Bowl 13, Steelers and Rams in Super Bowl 14. They were more competitive than they've been. Then we get into the 80s and it's just boring again. It was really, I tried to figure out when it turned. I'd like to think at Super Bowl 25, Giants-Bills, that was kind of we started to get, but then we had like all the other three games the Bills lost weren't great. I know it's at some point it flipped from expect a blowout and hope for a close game to expect a close game and it's unlikely it'll be a blowout.
Yeah, I guess who stopped the streak? Was it the Broncos? The Broncos, the first one, like they won back-to-back. Was it the 97
right.
Broncos? So that's when it started to become interesting, and you couldn't just say, hey, AFC loss, NFC win. You could for many, many years. I can't believe that actually happened. That's a part of the Super Bowl history that we had a double-digit win streak from one conference. That just seems like it's from a completely different lifetime. But it happened when we were, there was color TV, there was air conditioning, like this. It was from this era. So, but that won't happen again. It's just not that kind of league anymore.
Well, but the Super Bowl continued to grow and grow exponentially in popularity, even though the game itself was for many years not really all that great. 40 years ago, Joe Montana, Dan Marino, Super Bowl 19. That was the most hyped Super Bowl that I could remember because, oh, wow, this is going to be good. And it was a blowout. And it was so disappointing. It's like, when is this ever going to change? And then next year, the Bears and the Patriots. When is this ever going to change? And I remember at halftime of Super Bowl 21 with the big effort, down 10-9 to the Broncos, thinking, hey, maybe this is going to be the exciting one. And then the Giants blow them away. Broncos up 10-0 in Super Bowl 22. Here comes Doug Williams in Washington, 35 points in the second quarter. So it just continued and continued. And now, fortunately, kids, be fortunate. Be happy. Consider yourselves lucky. More often than not, you get a good Super Bowl, even though at the end of the day, the Patriots or the Chiefs are going to find a way to win it.
All right, man. So there's what I was talking about as well, a little bit of Super Bowl history. You heard him talking about different eras back in those eras where the Bills lost those 4 straight Super Bowls. It really felt like for a while, I can't remember how many years exactly it was. It was like the NFC was just winning all the Super Bowls. There was a year that when the Bills had that, was it a comeback win against the Raiders, or we just eliminated the Raiders? They were furious, flipping out like, why do they get to go again? Mad that the Bills kept going like, they're just going to lose. Well, beat the Bills then. They couldn't. It was frustrating for them. And, the first game, the Bills really were supposed to have that, man. Was that the one where someone hid Thurman Thomas's helmet, or was that in one of the Cowboys games where the one we were up at the half? It was just so frustrating. I think the second one, but we, other than the Giants game, we got beat pretty decisively in all those Super Bowls. It's just like things are different on the grandest stage of them all, and that Bills team just fell short. It was frustrating, man. You heard him mention Doug Williams. He was the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl, I believe. And again, Elway, who I mentioned earlier, he was a part of that draft class with Kelly and Marino, and Kelly and Marino never got their ring. Elway got 2 of them, which was cool, man. I was happy to see it happen. And I hope that when this Bills team does get this Super Bowl, right, Jim Kelly, who has battled back from all those injuries, from losing those Super Bowls, always kept giving it his all, never gave up, never give up to Bills Drive, right? That he can, and now has beat cancer, still alive, gave him the Jimmy V Award and all that, that he can celebrate with the team and live vicariously through him. I wanted to see Marv out there as well. Marv's still alive, y'all, right? Ain't he? Ain't Marv like 100 years old? Bruce, Thurman, all of them. I don't know, man. But there you have it. Just some different news things we went over. Travis Kelce, the villain, everyone's Super Bowl predictions, Peyton Manning, what he had to say. Let's discuss it all in the comments. Thank you again for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next one, guys. This is Jay Coffee Talk, where we talk music, news, sports, and more. And I'm up out of here, guys. Peace.